Hello everyone, Overlord1 here, and I have a tutorial for you today. We are going to go over our boy, the other Mechagodzilla of the game. We have Kiryu. We will talk about his punches, his kicks, his fierce attacks, his weapon attacks, any other unique attributes he has, and combos as well. Oh, and his rage if we can pick that up today, which we should be able to. Let's start with the nice and simple jab, which is this string right here. It's a good old 1-2 and then a third punch at the end. It does okay damage. The biggest problem with it is it's kind of stubby, as you can see. It's not super amazing on block either, as you can see. It's an okay move to throw out every once in a while, but I'd rather use his directional attacks. Speaking of, let's start with the one that I like use. Here, let's start out with two that I like to use. Let's start with down punch. It's his launcher. It launches your opponent in the air. It can even catch out your opponent if they're jumping. Or at least catch them when they're coming back down from the ground. It does solid damage. It launches your opponent, knocks them to the ground. Very important in this game because of how easy it is to really rack up damage on the ground. So having ways to launch people into the air to do that stuff is incredibly important. Make use of down punch for sure. Although it is a bit on the slower side, so you'll want to use it when either your opponent's trying to get in on top of you, or if your opponent uses a laggy move and you can really just ruin them. Let's see. Now let's talk about forward punch. This move is very nice because it actually knocks your opponent down, because you can use it when your opponent is knocked down on the ground. It does solid damage. You can hop out of it, which is very nice. It's got a decent distance. It also knocks your opponent down, unless they're like King Ghidorah Orga. It won't knock them down, but it'll knock everyone else down. It'll do solid damage. It's a good move. You'll definitely see me use it a fair amount. Anytime I play this character, you'll definitely see me use it a fair amount. Very similar to Mechagodzilla 2 in that aspect, which this character more or less copies the moveset from, but he does have some differences, which I will note here eventually. Let's talk about back punch. It's his overhead slam. It does okay damage, but the biggest problem I have with it is that it doesn't do as much damage as the overhead slam does. And it's a lot... Well, apparently you can still act out of it, but I just don't like the overhead slam as much as I like his forward punch. I much prefer his forward punch over this one, even if the... Yeah, I'd say it's just kind of redundant. Because let's see, that one is a bit let's see, this one's actually a bit further, I think. Hard to tell though, but I think forward punch has better range. Maybe slightly less. I generally prefer forward punch. You won't really see me use back punch unless it's in this input. Now we'll finish it off with up punch, which is, he just spins. Very similar to Mechagodzilla 2's, but unlike that character's, it's a multi-hit, as you can see here. Whereas Mechagodzilla 2's is a little bit harder to get to multi-hit. This character has it a bit easy. And now while we're here, let's talk about his rage attack, because his rage attack is actually different from Mechagodzilla 2. It's his absolute zero cannon, which if you press A and X at the same time, or punch and fierce at the same time, you get that. Now it's good damage. Its range isn't terrible, although there is a limit to how far it goes, so if your opponent knows that you have rage active, they'll just try to hop away from you or have a building in the way to prevent themselves from getting hurt. The damage is much more consistent than Mechagodzilla 2's is on his rage attack. but I generally prefer Mechagodzilla 2 in general, and I like the damage a bit more from his attack than I do with this version. Now, overall, this guy's punches are pretty solid. They're very similar to Mechagodzilla 2's. I believe they do slightly more damage than Mechagodzilla 2's. So this character's a bit more of a brawly character than the 90s counterpart. But overall, I like his forward punch, I like his down punch for being both launchers, knocking down people to the ground, and doing solid damage on their own. Otherwise, his punches are just kind of there. Now, let's just talk about his kicks. We start with neutral kick. This is actually a pretty good button. It's got decent range, it's solid edge damage. You see me use it in combos a couple of times in the videos I've done on this character. The biggest problem it has is that it will get stuffed out by other buttons, like Godzilla's tail, for example. I'll just back up a bit. Yeah, the tail still hits me further than the kick does, but the kick is faster, so that is very nice. And it's also edge damage, which is good against a lot of characters. You'll definitely want to be aware of that for sure. Now let's talk about one of my favorite kicks of his. We have back kick. Solid edge damage. Is good for catching out your opponents when they're hopping around. And it's pretty quick too. It's quicker than Godzilla's equivalent kick. As soon as I can get that. Because Godzilla is significantly slower. But this is faster. And actually still does pretty solid damage too. You'll definitely see me use back kick a lot with the Mechagodzillas because theirs is pretty quick, does solid damage, and can even whiff punish people pretty well, or intercept heavier attack, or you can even intercept slower attacks. Very nice for that. Definitely his best kick out of the bunch. Now let's talk about but yeah, definitely use back kick. Back kick's good. Let's talk about forward kick. It's good old roundhouse. It does more damage than the double kicks, but the problem it has is that... Oh, wrong one. Is that it's slow? Fairly easy to intercept. Especially if your opponent has a good blunt move like the Godzilla tails, for example. This move will just get stuffed out by him. Block is also pretty dangerous for it. It does not handle block very well at all. I mean, to be fair, this move doesn't handle block super well either. But it's harder for your opponent to punish than, say, this one. Your opponent can punish that significantly easier. Definitely want to keep that in mind. We also have... He doesn't have no, that's up here. He does not have an up kick. That's in the sequel. Now I present to you a kind of funky button. His down kick. This thing has a weird hurt box, as you can tell. You can definitely tell he takes cues from Mechagodzilla 2, just simply because... Yeah. A little funky, but... It functions, but the animation doesn't really match the character super well, unfortunately. It's still good because it's a toast-up move, but it definitely has issues of just hitbox collision just being a little weird. Like, look at that. It just looks so weird. It looks so weird. I definitely think there'll be something fixed in the remaster, but we'll wait and see on that front. We'll wait and see. But overall, this character actually has pretty good kicks. Back kick's good. Normal kick's very good. Down kick has its uses. Forward kick I don't like a whole lot, but you can certainly make use of it. Just be aware that your opponent can block it. Now let's talk about his standout feature from his other Mechagodzilla counterpart. Let's talk about his fierce attacks. We have Standard X, which as you can see here, it's just a standard lunge attack with his tail. It's pretty pathetic, because it doesn't have a whole lot of damage. It's also not... Like, it's okay on block, but it's nothing amazing. It's kind of an underwhelming Fierce button. Just simply because its range isn't great. Like, Godzilla still hits further than this guy does, as you can see here. Godzilla's has better range. So it's an okay button. The best thing about it is you can still do, like, that out of it, at least. Oh, did not mean to do that. Standard Fierce is nothing exceptional, but at least you can use it for combo strings, which is something that Mechagodzilla 2 can't make quite as good use of. But it's still not a great move. I wouldn't use it in neutral normally. Just simply because your kicks would do better anyway in those circumstances. Better damage, better range, that sort of thing. Now let's talk about the moves that he has that are similar to Mechagodzilla 2. We have Down Fierce, which is a jet, which is basically him using his jets to blow his opponent away. It's good for spacing your opponent away. It's also something that he will automatically use if his opponent is back to him. You'll definitely want to... It's like... It doesn't do damage, but if you want your opponent off of you, it's a good tool for that. Just keep in mind, if you're in close range quarters, your opponent will get you beforehand. So be aware of that, at least. We also have Forward Kick. Very similar to Mechagodzilla 2's. Though the hitbox is a little bit wonkier on it. It can sometimes just whiff completely. Especially... Like, it can whiff sometimes. But it is, it's very much about the same as Mechagodzilla 2's. Maybe a bit more damage. It's hard to tell, though. But just like Mechagodzilla 2's, it's very unsafe on block. It's a movement option for him. But it's nothing too amazing. It's just kind of there. Now let's talk about the moves that are actually distinct from Mechagodzilla 2. We have Back Fierce, which knocks your opponent down. It does solid damage. Its range is okay. The biggest problem it has is if you're off-center to your opponent by even a little bit, he'll just whiff. Here, let's walk backwards a little bit. Yeah, it just whiffs. That's the biggest problem with it, is that it suffers from Gigan syndrome, which is just moves sometimes whiff, because of their hitboxes being smaller than you would think. Well, that was weird. Okay, well, at least it's got that going for it. It's an okay move. Not his worst Fierce button, but I wouldn't use it a whole lot. Just simply because, it's okay at range. But if you use it up close, your opponent can just block it and punish you pretty hard for it. So I'd be a little bit more cautious about using the move. Definitely not as good as Plasma Grenade. I think that's the thing you'll understand about this guy's Fierce attacks, is that I would rather have Plasma Grenade 99% of the time over these tail attacks. They do not impress me whatsoever. Now let's talk about his final Fierce attack. We have Up Fierce. Very similar to how he is in Save the Earth, actually, in terms of the damage and whatnot. It's still... But the problem is that it's slower. Hitbox is not super amazing. Alright, let's see if we can have you jump in the air. It's an anti-air tool, but doesn't hit up as high as Mechagodzilla 2's Plasma Grenade version does. The nice thing about it is that, just like his other tail attacks, it does edge damage. It gives him more edge attack options, which is nice. But the problem with it is that it's slow. I mean, it's nice that it's a launcher, but it's just kind of... I rather prefer the guard busting capabilities that Plasma Grenade has over these tail attacks. They are fine enough on their own, but they do lack in range compared to the Godzilla equivalents. The Godzilla equivalents have much better range. Let's see. Okay, that's the tail attack. That one does a lot more damage. Yeah, overall, this guy's tail attacks are nothing all that amazing. They're okay for what they are, but I generally prefer Plasma Grenade over them by like a massive margin. The reason I don't think he's that much worse than Mechagodzilla 2 is because, well, he still has his beam game, he still has good punch moves, he still has good kick moves. He still has the other stuff that's good, it's just the fierce buttons there are underwhelming. Now let's talk about his weapon attacks. Let's start with the beam attack. I think it does roughly the same damage as Mechagodzilla 2's beam does. Maybe a bit more. It feels like it does a bit more, but it's hard to tell. It's an okay beam attack. It's got good range. It does decent damage. And unlike something like what Mechagodzilla 2 has to deal with, in which he has to make a choice between Plasma Grenade, Energy Beam, and all that stuff, you can pretty much use this guy's energy for flight, or the weapon, or the beam. That's pretty much all he uses his energy for. He doesn't have anything else for it, so that is a favor in the beam, instead of what Mechagodzilla 2 has to deal with. And we also have his secondary beam, his beam tap, which is the finger missiles. He fires missiles, they do pretty solid damage. They're very similar to Mechagodzilla 2's, go figure. They're very, very nice. They are very nice. The thing to keep in mind is you can walk around them, as you can see here. Excuse me. You can just walk around them. They are not the greatest, but they're very nice. They're very nice to have, they do good damage. If you can have your opponent cornered in a certain section of a map or something of that sort, you can really just ruin an opponent's day with them for sure. Oh yeah, I'm just going to mention this real quick. Dash Punch is okay. Nothing exceptional, nothing amazing. Very similar to Mechagodzilla 2's. Don't really bother with it. We also have unique attributes to him as well. We have Flight. He just flies around. And he spins too. We have Jump Punch, which knocks your opponent straight down to the ground. It's blunt damage. It's very nice for that sort of stuff. You'll definitely want to make use of it for sure. Although I definitely prefer his Jump Kick. This Jump Kick does good damage, it has good range, and it's surprisingly fast too. Like, that is very quick. That is very quick, especially by this game's standards. Jump Kick's definitely my favorite button of his out of his jump options. But it's not. But he does have Jump Punch, which is solid. He also has Jump Beam, which does okay damage. Very similar to Mechagodzilla 2's in that its damage isn't great, but it is quick, and you can use it as a quick finish off your opponent tool. You'll definitely want to use it for that, if at all possible. We also have Jump Fierce as well, which he just charges straight down, just like his old buddy Mechagodzilla 2. Does about roughly the same damage. It's just kind of there, that's all it really is. But overall, I do quite like his attack. I do like his jump attacks, because they do good damage. You definitely will see a Mechagodzilla make plenty use of his jump attacks. But both of them, really. Whoopah! I'm going to go ahead and try to finish Mechagodzilla off here so we can start talking about his throws and then his combos. Because he also has decent combo throws. Nothing exceptional, but they are nice. There's the jump button. We'll just finish you off. There we go. And we'll head straight into here.
Monsters.
Now we'll talk about Mechagodzilla 3's / Kiryu's grab game. We have A and B for grab. His grab's normal. I'd say it's very similar to Mechagodzilla 2, his grab is very similar to that. And what you saw there is his fierce throw. He has his opponent up in the air, he does the beam thing, and then you can kick him afterwards for extra damage, and it sets them up for an OTG situation. You can punish it with forward punch, jump, kick, any of that stuff, really. You can punish it with that. It's definitely my favorite throw out of the three, even if it does use up a bit of energy. So just keep that in mind. We also have his normal throw. It's a normal throw. Does solid damage, you can get out pretty quick, and you can throw him into barriers and get an extra hit or two off. For some glorious extra bits of combos. You'll definitely want to use it for that, for sure. I generally prefer his fierce throw though, because it does more damage. We also have his kick throw, where he goes up, throws the opponent high in the air, and they slam to the ground very far away. But yeah, my overall thoughts on this grab game is that it's solid, he gets good damage out of it, you definitely want to go for grabs if you can, but it's not the be-all end-all of his hit, unlike some other characters like Godzilla, Rodan, Destroya. Those three really benefit from their grab games. This dude definitely benefits from it, but it's not super amazing. I quite like his grabs though, they're very, very nice. Now, let's also talk about his unique attributes. Just like Mechagodzilla 1, he resists edge attacks, which means if he's getting hit here, as you can see here, he still takes damage, but he doesn't take knockback, which means he can still do a move while he's being hit. It's a very useful trait to have, especially with how good a lot of edge moves are in this game, and particularly the ones that don't do amazing knockback. Really don't like dealing with Mechagodzillas in particular. You'll definitely want to make use of that attribute as you're playing the character. It'll make certain characters' lives miserable. For example, Gigan, because he wasn't miserable enough already. We also have, of course, let's talk about his get-up attacks. And he knocked you to the ground. Ah, there we go. We have the one where he spins up like that while he's laying down on the ground. It's an okay move, but the problem with it is that just like the Mechagodzilla version, he can be grabbed out of it, so be careful about that. Okay, yep, that's the grab. Just toss you right there. See? Definitely want to be careful about using that get-up attack against characters like Godzilla, because he'll just grab you and make your life miserable. Definitely want to be careful about that. But he also has another get-up attack he can do when he's face up. And it's that one. It's an okay move. Nothing too exceptional, but it's fine for what it is. Get-up attacks in this game tend to be pretty underwhelming, so it just kind of fits that mold. Now here's some combos you can do with Mechagodzilla 3. You can do down punch, light beam, or you can go for an OTG option afterwards. Up Fierce. Up Fierce isn't really a combo thing, but you can chase him down, protect chasing and that sort of thing. You can also do this with a beam afterwards as well. You see that this character will use Flight Beam a lot, just simply because he doesn't get a whole lot of combos off of it. Yeah, that should cover everything about Mechagodzilla 3/Kiryu. He's a cool character, I like him, but the problem that he has is that I just find him slightly inferior to Mechagodzilla 2 in terms of plasma grenade and smaller attributes as well. Oh yeah, here's the thing that's different between the both of them. Mechagodzilla 2, I mean, this fella actually has really good hop range, particularly while he's running. he goes really far. He has like a little skid at the end. Because apparently his feet is made of like ice or something. So he just slides a bit. It's very, very nice to have a better hop than your mechanical doppelganger, which does help his more melee-oriented style. You definitely want to make use of that while you're playing this character. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's any other combos or stuff. No. I'd say his most important moves are his jump kick, his missiles, the beam attacks, forward punch, let's see, down punch as well. You'll definitely want to make use of that move. I like his back fierce and his up fierce as well, even if they're kind of underwhelming. Because they are useful. They have range purposes. But anyway, I believe that's everything to cover about our boy Mechagodzilla 3 here. He's a solid character. It's definitely the resistances that help him stay competitive. Otherwise, I kind of middling on him. Same with his 90s counterpart. Anyway, that should be it for now on this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. You take care now. I look forward to the remaster. I'll see you all then. Take care now. Peace. And bye.